Hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Socialistics Podcast. Oh, another 2 weeks has gone by, and it's been an interesting 2 weeks. And today I'm going to talk about, it's interesting. When I launched this podcast, I always thought to myself, am I going to have enough things to talk about? I don't want to do this if I have to constantly be thinking of things to talk about. But I knew that I wanted to, at the very least, be consistent with episodes. At least, I started doing them every week, and I was like, no, every other week. It's got to be every other week. So that's what I'm sticking with. But, I created my master list of topics, and I kind of dip into it here and there. But it's interesting because between those 2 weeks, it's likely that something happens that in and of itself can be an episode. So I think that's the right frequency, and that certainly has been the case for us. I kind of went into December thinking, just like my typical professional Decembers of previous years, they're usually slowed down. People are getting into holiday mode. People are, they just check out. And especially this year when we have the pandemic and more people are working from home, I just figured, well, December, as long as we hold on to what we got, I'll be happy with that. And that's kind of my mindset. And plus, my team really needed kind of a break from all of the new clients that we had been taking on. Because the reality is, when you're starting an agency, and those of you that own an agency or run one can relate to this, onboarding takes a lot of time. So when you have a team, there's a percentage, there's a client load that they can handle. There's a number of clients that they can handle. And part of that is existing clients that are kind of in a rhythm. You've got a process that don't take as much time. And then a percentage of that work is new clients where you're onboarding them. Probably takes a little bit more time. So there's only so many that they can take. So we've been onboarding a lot. So I said, okay, I'm going to pull back from the business development a little bit. I'm going to take it easy a little bit here. Give you guys a month or two to kind of catch up. And that's exactly what I did. I pulled back from the number of leads that I was pursuing, and we have a variety of different, we have some inbound and outbound lead generation that produces a steady flow of opportunities to pursue, some more significant than others. I decided to not pursue the lesser significant leads, the ones that had a much lower probability of being much of anything. So it was interesting because in that process, things changed for us dramatically this month. And I wanted to kind of talk through that in this episode about how, it's that whole quality over quantity thing. I mean, I know most people know that, but just to, and I had started to go down that path already to a certain extent, but not to the extreme that I have this month. And it's been enlightening. So this month, I really only focused on the leads and the opportunities that I was really excited about, that I had a personal feeling of excitement about, and I felt were a high probability of us being able to land. And in that process, instead of working on 10 leads, 15 leads, and dealing with, the calls and proposals or pitches and back and forth and research and producing everything that we needed to do across 10 to 15 opportunities, I literally just focused on like 3 to 5. And it allowed me to really take a closer look at how we pitch new business. So now that I was dealing with a much smaller number of opportunities, we spent more time on them. Our pitch decks were better. I had time to just think about these clients and what their challenges were. And I just had more intellectual inventory to spend on these opportunities. And it made a huge difference. And when we got on these pitches, the actual calls themselves, and took them through the decks, I mean, we knocked it out of the park. I mean, it was amazing. I felt better about what we were presenting and and how we were doing what we were doing. And it just came off more authentic, and there's just more depth to what we were sharing with them. And the biggest takeaway that I had in this experience really came down to passion. And some people that listen to this might think this is corny or obvious, but there really isn't anything more powerful than in the sales process when it comes in agency land, when a client can feel your passion for what they do, when they can see your passion for wanting to work with them. And the fact of the matter is, every situation up to this point has not been that. It's impossible to be passionate about every single company that we come across. It's not a black and white thing. It's not like you are or you aren't. There's a sliding scale of how interested you might be in something. But I found with there was three particular opportunities that really stood out to me this month that I really, really, really wanted to work with them. I felt like what they were doing was awesome, and the people were awesome. They felt like great people that I'd want to be associated with. And I felt like we could really make a difference for them. We could really move the needle for them. And that passion just shined through in all of our conversations and our approach. And we landed all of them. Not only did we land all of them, we landed them within within minutes of either giving the pitch or, an hour after, which is not common for us. We're not a niche-based agency yet. Maybe I say yet. I know that's probably what we should do, but we're having success having not done that yet. But it's not common for an agency that works in a variety of different industries to get that quick of a decision from folks. And it was a huge eye-opener. I'm like, we landed more work by going after less opportunities. It was hugely eye-opening to me, not because I didn't know that quality trumps quantity, but the scale of quantity that I changed in this month was significant. I did a third of what I normally do and landed way more. And it just was so eye-opening to see that happen and just to experience it, because now I know that I have to do a much better job of, and I've talked about this in previous episodes, saying no. Episode, I think back in early September, I had an episode, The Power of Saying No. And it's not just about saying no, it's the power of not even attempting to go after something that isn't going to be the best fit. And it's not just about passion for me, it's my team. The best work that we do is when we're working with clients that we're super passionate about. And, some people say, oh, you can't love everything that you do. Nobody has a perfect job. And that's true. But that being said, as you mature as an agency and you start to build some stability, you get into a position where you can be selective. And I like that. I don't want to be the agency that just takes every dollar that gets thrown at it. That's not who we want to be. We want to feel like every client relationship that we have is meaningful, impactful, and that we have some level of authentic passion or interest in what our clients are doing. And I think that makes such a huge difference in the quality of the work, the quality of the relationships. And that's what excites me about the idea of running an agency long term. When I did this, I always felt like, okay, well, there's an end goal here of selling this agency at some point, because I don't want to do this forever. It's a grind and constantly having to get new clients and, having to manage that number of relationships. It's daunting and it's a lot. And I knew that that's not something I necessarily wanted to do forever, but my mindset's shifted a little, having learned over time, when you are selective and you work with clients that you really like and that you're passionate about, it's not as daunting. It's not as stressful, because you're working with awesome people doing awesome things, that makes it a lot easier to seeing myself and my team do this maybe longer than I had originally imagined. So it's been such a huge learning for me this month, and I'm excited because ultimately what was looked at as kind of a short-term approach, now I'm like, no, like I'm actually, I'm only going to go after the ones that we really want. And I'd like to think we've reached a point where enough of those will come our way to continue to grow as an agency. I know a lot of agencies that might listen to this or might be thinking to themselves, oh, yeah, it must be nice, getting to pick and choose who you work with. And I get it, and I've said this too previously, that not when you're just starting out or you're early on, there you can't, you have to make some sacrifices. You might just, to grow and to, that's any business, right? You're going to have to do things that you don't want to do or that are harder up front to get to a better place. That's just life. So, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. If you continue to do awesome work and build towards something bigger and better, then you're going to get to a place where you can be more selective about who you work with. And, the crazy thing, and there's some truth to this. It's like, it's like absence makes the heart grow fonder. When you start saying no, and people want to work with you, like it's almost like you tell them, nah, I don't think this is a good fit. What do you mean? You don't like me? Like, I don't understand. Like, no, it makes them want to work with you more. So certainly when situations are not a good fit, we handle it respectfully. Especially being a month-to-month agency, I don't want to get into a relationship that I ultimately feel isn't a good fit. I've learned the hard way about that. And, it's just so much better to not get into those sorts of relationships, at least when you get to a point where you can be that selective. Like I said, when you're early on, you have to kind of fight through some of those situations. If anything, it's good learning experiences too. Where we're at and what we're able to do today is a direct reflection of a lot of hard work and a lot of mistakes and a lot of learnings over time. Like it's just, I've been a marketer for so long, 22, 23 years, and I'm still learning. You think, this is the second time that I tried to run an agency, and I learned so much from the first time about what not to do. I thought, oh, okay, I got this licked. I mean, I'm ready to go. I know what I'm doing. You don't, until you really do it, you don't. And there's so much more for us to do to continue to evolve as an agency. There's so much work to be done to take us to another level. And I'm excited about that. I've got a team that's excited about that. And that's part of the process. You just, you learn along the way, and we're always transparent with our clients and anybody that we work with that, we're not perfect and we'll make some mistakes, and they'll, but it's all about learning from that and making adjustments and being transparent about what we do and how we do what we do. So it's been an interesting month in that regard. I'm really excited about the idea of kind of scaling back and spending more time with new opportunities. And the fact of the matter is, it's a crazy competitive space. Everybody thinks that they're a marketer. Everybody is going into marketing. Everybody's launching an agency, and there's just a ton of competition. Some good, a lot not. But the fact of the matter is, it creates a tremendous amount of noise for folks, for businesses and organizations that are looking for good partnerships with agencies. It's tough. We're constantly battling it out with 7, 8, 9, 10 different options often when we're talking to clients. But I think what I'm finding is that assuming you are competent and can deliver results and do all the things that everybody else does, I really think that the biggest differentiator that an agency can put out there, and I'm not talking about like plastering it on your website and saying you are these things. That's not authentic. It's really it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and it has to be authentic. It's passion. I mean, that will win over everybody practically 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, if it's real, and if it's coming from an authentic place. I just feel like that's what companies and organizations want to see. They want to see excitement. They want to see somebody that really wants and cares about what they're doing. That's been the biggest differentiator. I mean, we have other differentiators, but ultimately I'm finding that when they see that we are truly authentically passionate about what they're doing, we win that business 99% of the time. And the fact of the matter is we're not going to feel that way about everything, and it's not realistic that every client that comes our way we're going to be that passionate about. Some clients maybe we're a little bit, and so I certainly don't expect that, every new opportunity we come across we're just going to be bouncing off the walls for. But I think there's enough out there that most of what we work on, we could feel that way. And that's what excites me. That's what excites me about building a social media agency, is that I truly believe that there's enough of those opportunities out there where, 90% plus of our client portfolio, we feel that way about. And that's an awesome thing to feel. I don't know that I would have thought that a year ago, but I do now. And I've seen that transition. We've taken clients on that probably weren't the best fit for us, just out of necessity. And then some of them we parted ways with for a variety of reasons, often out of our control, but we've replaced them with the right type of clients. So it's been an awesome journey to get there. So I guess the biggest takeaway from this episode, if you're an agency owner, aspiring agency owner, or even a potential client or existing client, is that passion is everything. If you're on the hiring side, use that as a barometer for who you choose to work with. If you're on the agency side, know that, taking on, lessen the number of leads that you go after. If you don't have the time to really go deep, and it's not just like the time you spend on the proposal or the pitch, it's really just headspace. Like, can you actually remove yourself from everything else for an extended period of time to really think about that opportunity and put yourself in a position to come up with some really great concepts and strategies and how you're going to present yourself. Like, that's the biggest thing that makes, I think, the biggest difference between, an opportunity that you land versus one that you're competing with, a lot of other folks and you don't win out on. So that's been my biggest takeaway for December. So that, I'm going to leave it at that. So I've got some interviews kind of scheduled here over the next couple episodes that I'm excited about. I kind of want to mix this up. I don't want it to always be just me blabbering on about agency life. So look forward to that over the next couple weeks. As always, thank you for listening. Please leave a review, share, check us out on social media. Definitely check out our Socialistics Cares campaign. We are picking a charity organization every month that we're donating money to and highlighting. This month it's Make-A-Wish. One of the gals on our team is very passionate about that. We've got a blog post up, but I'm super proud of what we're doing with that, trying to make whatever difference we can make outside of our normal routine. So that's something that we're super proud about. So please be sure to check that out on our website. But thank you for listening. We will catch you in a couple weeks on the next episode of the Socialistics Podcast.